Matty, Keith Gretzky is the interim general manager of the Edmonton Oilers, and he's managing, obviously, the roster heading into the NHL trade deadline. What is the likelihood that the Oilers would want to stick with Keith Gretzky, offer him the general manager's role full-time, or do you think they need to do a thorough search and figure out who that person is?
Well, I think Keith gets a bad rap because of his last name. And I think there is a segment of the fan base in Edmonton thinks the only reason he's got the job is because he's Wayne Gretzky's brother. He was brought in with Peter Chiarelli from Boston, and he drafted some fairly good players there: Jake DeBrusk, Charlie McAvoy, David Pasternak. So he has a history of drafting, some pretty good hockey players. Keith says he doesn't want to be the general manager. That might just be a public. I don't want to throw my name out there. I think they'll talk to half a dozen candidates. Last year, last time around, Bob Nicholson admitted he didn't know the pool all that well, but he did know Chiarelli from the Olympic team. So he jumped in with both feet and hired him in about 3 days. This time around, it's always better when you're hiring a general manager to interview as many people as you can and have them tell you about your hockey team. What do you like about this hockey team? What do you think about this player? What are we doing wrong? You canvass opinions from a lot of different people from outside your own organization for the most part. And it either reinforces what you think or it changes what you think. And it's always better to do that. So most of the candidates out there are assistant general managers on other teams, whether they're Kelly McCrimmon, whether they're Mark Hunter, whether they're Billy Guerin, Norm McIver. The only obvious former GM would be Ron Hextall that you would want to talk to. But I think it'll be a long search, and I think they'll probably talk to Keith. I think Keith better be in the organization next time around. And the new general manager will hire his own coach. That's the way it works. It seldom works unless the coach has time left on his contract already. And then it's one of those, well, we'll see how it works. And then after a year, maybe we get a different coach. So.
When do you think the Oilers need to make this hire by? Before the draft, or does it matter if it's after the draft?
Before the draft. You'll always like to have a coach before the draft. And if the Oilers are out of the playoffs, they've got lots of time to interview people from middle of April till June. So they have lots of time to interview people. And I don't know. Like I said, I have no idea whether they'll want. They've had a veteran general manager in Chiarelli. And they've had two veteran coaches in Todd McClellan and Ken Hitchcock this time around. The coach before them was a rookie coach, Dallas Aikens, so I don't know whether they go for a young coach either. Chris Knobloch or whomever is out there as a new coach too. But I'm throwing my name out, throwing out Ralph Kruger's name. Why not? I think Ralph was a good coach here. Got a lot on the team during the lockout season, and then he got let go. But I think he'd still be willing to come back in.
You think so? After how he was,
I think he wants to be back in the NHL as a head coach,
yeah.
And I don't think it matters. And I think in Ken Hitchcock's case, he was hired by Peter Chiarelli to hopefully be the rain man to get him out of this and get him into the playoffs. But as soon as Peter Chiarelli got fired, then Ken Hitchcock's kind of out there by himself now. And I think Ken's still a really good coach, but he left the situation in Dallas where he was not coaching, and he was an advisor. I think, if he's not the coach of the Edmonton Oilers next year, they can keep him on as an advisor, or he'll get a job with another team because he's still really smart at what he does.